I'm thinking that as more and more comes out, he will be more privy to be sharing things about the royal family and trading secrets for cash.
Well, he's a private individual now, Samara. Do you know about this? It's like we were investigating his new property up in Sandringham. We believe it's a place called Marsh Farm, but we're told by the palace that they cannot comment because there's GDPR, which is like data protection rules, and that he's a private individual. Does he now deserve to be a private individual, to live a private life up in Sandringham without us asking questions about where he lives, and should he speak to the police?
It is supposed to be one of the warmest and most welcoming dates on the royal calendar. The king's yearly pre-Christmas lunch at Buckingham Palace is usually a carefully captured show of togetherness, tradition, and festive cheer. Senior royals arrive smiling, extended family members follow soon after, and the signal is always clear. Everything is fine inside the House of Windsor. But this year, one image sharply broke from that pattern. While the Prince and Princess of Wales led arrivals in London, and while Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were photographed smiling as they joined the celebrations, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor was far away, alone on horseback, in the rain, circling Windsor Great Park, appearing as isolated as the photos suggested. And according to one expert, that image may not have been accidental. Pictures released that day showed Andrew riding across soaked ground, rain clearly dripping from the brim of his riding hat and running down his face. His posture was straight but rigid, his expression set and unsmiling. No interaction, no visible enjoyment, just a lone figure moving through harsh weather while his family gathered for a celebration he was not invited to attend. Body language and communication expert Judy James was quick to comment. Speaking about the images, she said Andrew looked as if he had gone full Marley's ghost, likening the scene to something gloomy and almost theatrical. She noted there was no sign of pleasure or excitement, adding that he simply sat in the saddle looking serious and bleak. Her point was not only that Andrew looked unhappy, it was the contrast. At the very same time, his daughters were being photographed inside warm cars, laughing, smiling, and wrapped in festive coats as they arrived at Buckingham Palace. According to Judy James, the visual gap between father and daughters was so strong that it risked sending a message of emotional pressure rather than quiet dignity. She explained it plainly. If you want people close to you not to feel guilty about attending a party you are excluded from, you usually show that you are coping well. You wave them off happily. You stay comfortable at home. You do not turn yourself into a symbol of exclusion. Andrew, she suggested, did the opposite. Of course, Andrew's absence from the king's pre-Christmas lunch was not unexpected. He has not attended in recent years, and after losing his royal duties, titles, and facing ongoing fallout from his connection to Jeffrey Epstein, his exclusion from public family events has become routine. What made this moment stand out was the timing. The lunch took place as renewed attention continues to circle Andrew's past, with more Epstein-related material expected, and with the king having already made his stance clear. Charles previously described Andrew as having shown serious lapses in judgment and publicly aligned himself with survivors of abuse. The message from the monarch was firm and clear. Andrew is out. His daughters, however, are not. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie remain firmly included. Both attended the lunch, both were photographed smiling, and both continue to be invited to royal events when they choose to go. That difference matters. Royal observers will recall that last year neither Andrew nor Sarah Ferguson attended Christmas gatherings. This year the pattern has continued. The former Duke of York and his ex-wife are no longer welcome at these events, while their daughters are treated very differently. Longtime royal commentators say King Charles is known to be close to both Beatrice and Eugenie, and has made a clear effort not to punish them for their parents' actions. In practical terms, that means invitations still arrive for them even when they do not for Andrew. Which brings us back to that rain-soaked ride. Some suggest Andrew's decision to ride that day was routine. He is known to enjoy horseback riding, and Windsor Great Park is familiar ground. Others believe the timing was an unfortunate coincidence, but Judy James and others see something more intentional. She described Andrew's expression as jaw set and eyes fixed forward, suggesting determination rather than acceptance. A man pushing on despite the weather, the circumstances, and the optics. In her view, the image created was one of lonely endurance, almost designed to contrast with the warmth and comfort his daughters were experiencing. Intentional or not, the impact was strong. The phrase Marley's ghost lingered for a reason. It painted a picture of a figure circling the edge of a celebration he can no longer join, watching, present, but shut out. And it raised an uncomfortable question. Was Andrew trying to send a message? The suggestion was that the image could be read as a silent signal to his daughters, one that might leave them conflicted about attending family events without him, not through words, but through imagery. Andrew has not commented on the photographs, and his true reason for writing that day remains unknown, but royal life has always been as much about symbols as substance, and this symbol was hard to miss. There's also a practical reality behind the images. Andrew is believed to be in his final weeks at Royal Lodge, the large 30-room property in Windsor he has lived in for years. Reports say he is being forced to downsize and will move to a much smaller home on the King's private Sandringham estate in the new year. Multiple reports claim some of his belongings have already been placed into storage as preparations quietly begin. The scale of the change is major. Royal Lodge is expansive. The Sandringham accommodation is not suited for a man once seen as central to the monarchy. The move reflects his fall from favor. That context makes the lone ride feel even heavier, not just excluded from lunch, but nearing the end of an entire chapter. Inside the palace, life continued. The king hosted the lunch as planned. The Prince and Princess of Wales led events. Extended family members arrived smiling. Cameras flashed. Festive routine was preserved. Even within Andrew's own family, life goes on. While Princess Beatrice attended the lunch, her husband was noticeably absent. Soon after, photos showed Beatrice arriving alone. He posted on Instagram revealing he was in Los Angeles. He tagged his design firm, Banda Properties, and said he was in California for work meetings. A reminder that even royal marriages include separate schedules and careers. For Andrew, however, the absence carried more weight. This was not a diary clash. It was a boundary being enforced, and the palace made no attempt to soften it. No alternative engagement, no quiet background role, and no message of goodwill. Just silence, rain, and a horse ride captured from a distance. Some royal watchers see this as the firm holding its line. Others see it as a carefully maintained distance. Andrew remains physically close to royal life in Windsor, but socially and symbolically separate. For now, the monarchy has decided that's where he stays. What may be most striking is how little effort is now made to hide that reality. In the past, absences were often explained or managed quietly. This time, the contrast was allowed to unfold publicly. The images were released and commentary followed. No one has stepped in to correct the story. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, once a central royal figure, now rides alone in the rain while his family gathers without him. So I'll ask you this, was that image a moment of real solitude, or was it a carefully chosen act of silent communication? And as the royal family heads towards Christmas at Sandringham, do you think Andrew's isolation is now permanent, or is there any path left back, even to the edges of royal life? Share your thoughts, and for more updates like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.